Finally, the new opponent of Salt Papi has been revealed, and it's a real pressure machine.
Don't blink, Todd!
Will Salt Papi be able to handle Taylor's power? Let's find out. Anthony Taylor. For those who completely underestimate Anthony, let's start with this.
I'm not gonna ask how you found out that information, Kitty, but here we go. Don't blink, Todd!
Ashley Raksu, a good influencer boxer, was knocked down just 3 seconds into the fight. This knockdown was not just a stroke of luck. Taylor is adept at dodging punches and throwing overhand punches in a similar way to Jake Paul, but with slightly more variety. His entire style is built on Mike Tyson's pendulum, dives, and counterattacks. Although he struggles against jabs, he consistently dives under them with those same overhand punches. And if the overhand doesn't connect, he changes his stance and throws a left hook to continue the attack. To avoid getting caught during his dives, he mixes them up with feints and combinations to different levels. While it may not be the highest level of boxing, it works perfectly against opponents of his caliber. Raksu couldn't hide his shock at how he kept getting hit with those overhand punches and even fell into a knockdown again. This was because he wasn't prepared for that kind of pressure. When it comes to influencer boxing, no one can match Taylor's level of pressure. While most fighters are careful and afraid of taking damage, he always moves forward, unafraid of taking punches because his chin can handle it, unlike his opponents. No one, not even Tommy Fury, can knock him out. Anthony seamlessly combines his attacks with clinching, constantly entering and exiting it. Anyone who has experience in clinching knows how exhausting it can be, and this is how he incorporates his MMA background. Anthony uses his quick wrestling reflexes and underhooks in boxing. After his dives, it's easy for him to enter the clinch with underhooks and exit it to brawl again. This is a skill set that is not easily acquired, and so far, no one has been able to withstand his pressure, even in fights he has lost. Despite this, many people wonder why he has such a poor record. Anthony Taylor's combined professional and amateur MMA record is 9 wins and 11 losses, while his boxing record is 3 wins and 6 losses. The truth is, Anthony has never avoided tough fights, he just loses them. However, this does not mean he's a terrible fighter. In fact, 99% of influencer boxers would lose to Idris or Tommy Fury. Question is, how did he perform? Actually, he fought quite well. In his fight against Idris Virgo, he faced a real boxer with a record of 12-0. Although it seemed like he was going to be easily defeated, he immediately began clinching his opponent and throwing hooks, showcasing his trademark pressure, and showed no fear of taking punches due to his iron chin. Although Taylor performed well during the fight and was not embarrassed, it became apparent that there are levels to it. His dives were a significant problem, similar to Gibbs' dives in his fight with Jake Paul. It's very dangerous to act like this in the fight. Virgo understood this weakness and built his entire game plan around countering with uppercuts when Taylor approached. This, along with sharp jabs, was enough to dismantle Taylor's style. Tommy Fury also defeated him using a similar strategy, but it's worth mentioning that they both were on a higher skill level compared to him. Taylor is more of a fighter than a boxer, and all of his fights reflect this. As Jake Paul demonstrated, a real boxer cannot be defeated with brawling. This makes the Taylor vs. Salt Papi fight intriguing, especially since Papi is originally a street fighter and only later became a boxer. Salt Papi. While many people believe that Salt will easily defeat Taylor, it's not that simple. Taylor's record boasts the most serious list of boxers among influencer boxers, and in comparison, Salt Papi has not fought anyone of note yet. His street fighting experience provides him with plenty of experience, but he has never faced real boxers before. However, a matchup against Taylor is the best way to showcase Salt Papi's level. Statistically, this fight is difficult for him because no one has ever pressed Salt Papi like Taylor will do. All of Salt Papi's opponents were afraid of him. Even Josh Bruckner was afraid to press him, which was strange because he always excelled in other fights thanks to his pressing. When opponents tried to punish him, he was able to make slips and counterattacks thanks to his head movement. But with Salt Papi, none of this worked. He was afraid to throw an extra jab and constantly backed up because Salt Papi imposed his own pace on him. Because of all this tension, Josh always threw the 1-2 combo on autopilot, and Salt Papi studied his timing, getting used to his speed, and punishing him with his left every time Bruckner tried to throw a straight punch. Josh couldn't adapt during the fight because he had no other options. The 1-2 was his signature combination, and all he tried to do was hide it behind feint left hook to confuse Papi, but it didn't help. This is where the effectiveness of Salt Papi's left straight comes in, because he adapts the signature punch to the specific opponent and neutralizes their best punches. His style is similar to McGregor's. They both catch their opponents with counterattacks, and it only works when the right-handed opponent opens up between punches. When McGregor tried to press Diaz with his left straight, it didn't lead to anything good for him because his technique doesn't work in attack. This is why Salt Papi's tempo in his fights is exactly like this. He starts slow, studying the opponent like a cobra, throwing feints, and then suddenly raises the tempo and knocks out the opponent with a left punch counterattack. He is reading every opponent except for Andy Warski, whom Papi completely read in just 10 seconds of feints, after which Andy was knocked out without any respect. But in the fight with Taylor, everything could be more difficult. With clinches and pressing, Taylor will take away Papi's space, which can prevent Papi from making feints and reading his opponent. Also, one of the reasons why Salt Papi's almost perfect style is under threat in this fight is his defense. Salt Papi constantly fights with an open jaw, confident that he can react at the right moment, but even in a street fight, he was knocked down. Prediction. In this upcoming fight, we can expect to witness several intriguing moments. Firstly, we will observe how Salt Papi deals with Anthony Taylor's aggressive clinching tactics. Secondly, we will see how he defends against Taylor's diving punches and overhands. While I do believe that Salt Papi will ultimately emerge victorious, I anticipate that it won't be an easy feat. Taylor will likely try to lower his head and charge at Papi, attempting to knock him out with his powerful right hand. However, I believe that the uppercut will play a critical role in this fight, and there's a good chance that Salt Papi will knock out Taylor with a well-timed uppercut as he lunges into the clinch. If Salt Papi pulls off this move successfully, it will demonstrate that he's a more skilled boxer than both Tommy Fury and Idris Virgo, and he may even surpass current expectations. Who do you think will win, and how? Please share your comments below.